I'm great. How are you?
Great. Awesome.
Okay.
All right, here. Let me get some. Jesus, it's hot under there.
You look great.
Thank you.
So, what was your inspiration this year to do the Dread Doctors?
We knew that we wanted to do a kind of science and supernatural mixing season where we got into experiments, our kind of Island of Dr. Moreau season. So that's partially where it came from. And also, I love the whole steampunk aesthetic. The design is so gorgeous, and that was a heavy inspiration as well.
In the opening scene of the first episode, we see Lydia sort of as like a street fighter, and she's got these amazing skills.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to see her develop that in Part A?
You will see a little bit of it in Part A. There is a moment where she decides, I need to learn how to protect myself. I need to learn how to be a fighter. So we see more of it along the way. It's definitely progression.
As far as Parrish's character goes, it seems like he could turn into something maybe evil instead of good, which is a lot of mystery around the season.
He's definitely on the sort of moral border, the border of right and wrong, so you'll have to see. Yeah.
Was there any surprises this season so far in filming?
In filming? Actually, how smoothly it went. This was one of our easiest seasons to film. Partially because we were able to have more scripts done up front. It was surprising. The actors always surprise me with their performances. One thing that was a nice surprise was seeing just how well Cody Christian fit in with the others. I'm so proud of him, and so proud of the cast for accepting him. It's an unusual thing, so it's nice.
You got one more question.
Is the Dread Doctors the big bad in A, or is there another bad like Theo who could be the big bad?
Well, you'll have to see if they're working together or not. But I would say the Dread Doctors are definitely the main villains in A.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's got a lot of drama, a lot of excitement. We're really happy with our new villains, because when you start designing these things and start coming up with the ideas, there's a great possibility that it's just going to look terrible. We're pretty happy with the way they look. We took some film tests and stuff, but the great thing though is when we produced the first 10 episodes, I've never seen the set happier. So it's nice to be in a 5th season where the cast actually still really all loves each other. I mean, you hear things about other shows where nobody can stand anybody anymore. Nobody comes out of the trailers, but it's not like that at all. So it's really nice.
So how soon are we going to get some knowledge of what or who the doctors are? Like, how long is that going to stay a big mystery?
You learn a lot more about them actually in episode 5. And the man with the knowledge is Dr. Valley, the man with the third eye. So Styles, Lydia, and the others go to Aiken House to find out what he knows.
What inspired those characters? Because I think they are by far the creepiest of any in the Teen Wolf universe.
That's great. I love that. Well, it was inspired by the steampunk aesthetic, all those masks that people make on their own, and obviously, and that's inspired by the German World War II gas masks and the idea of human experiments being done during the wars. They even come a little from the plague doctors during the bubonic plague. But I just love the idea of science meeting the supernatural. We never wanted the show to be test tubes and things like that. We always wanted to do our version of it, and the Dread Doctors kind of give us that way in. That's sort of cool and a little bit more alchemy rather than like I don't want anyone shooting bullets with concentrated sunlight in them, you know. See what I mean? They're the nicest cast in the world.
The last time we saw Dr. Valek, he was Peter.
Yes. Not this 10 episodes, but I can say yes to the next. Although the funny thing is I say yes and then contracts don't work out and then I'm billed as a liar. It's not my fault. What else?
Also, Dr. Valek.
Yeah. Yes. You'll have to wait to learn about that. Wait for episode 5.
So in the season premiere, we saw the future of what will happen to these characters. Mm-hmm. Will that play out at the end of this season, or is it going to be like?
Oh, you're going to see each piece of that each of those flashbacks played out. One is going to be in 5B, but we play a lot with timeline this season. So we like the whole idea that this season was essentially a flashback. We're stealing a little bit from Lost. They're good people to steal from.
The whole part A and part B, so it won't be at the end of part A that we'll reach that point. It won't be till the end of the full season.
Well, I actually know the episode where we come back to the present, but I won't tell you yet. It's not the end of 5B. So
at the panel, Kevin Smith was talking a lot about the romance between Scott and Styles, and there was some mention that that might be tested this season.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, we've seen them be best friends for years now, and we asked the question in the writers' room. We always like to start with how do we test our characters and how do we test the relationships. And I know the audience hates it, but the best drama comes from making them suffer. You've got to make your characters suffer. So we thought sort of really hitting that relationship hard this season would mine some pretty good drama out of it. It's going to be tough. And something happens, I said this in the panel, something happens in episode 5 that starts to put them on different paths. And Theo, Cody Christian, is going to use that to his advantage.
Speaking of Theo, he seems to be a bad
Yes, he has bad plans for Scott and the pack, and it comes out of a very human desire, though, which is he wants a pack of his own. Whether that's taken from Scott or not, you'll have to wait and see. But it's so nice to have Cody on the show. He gives one of the reasons we like to add new characters to the show is you bring out new things in your main characters. You test them, and he's really going to get into people's heads and undermine things for Scott.
Yeah, is he able to put a curse on people? It looks like he was over top of Kira's bed and doing some kind of mind control where it looks like he might be able to manipulate her.
You'll have to wait to see what that is. But Kira's got her own problems this season. And good to see you, by the way. How are you? Kira has her own issues this season, and that was hinted at in the end of 503, where the Fox spirit is sort of, it's reaching out for its own independence. So we'll see some struggle there.
Well, we get to see Stilinski with Melissa McCall.
You know, we threw the curveball in episode 3 of Stilinski going out with Natalie Martin, but you'll see. There's the slap that happens in the end of 501, and you see why that happens. But we definitely pair them up later in the season for more. Whether they get together or not, I can't say yet.
What about Malia and her quest to the desert?
That's ongoing, and there takes a big turn happens in episode 8, actually. I'm doing better. I'm keeping track of it. I got all this down now. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Good thing I didn't drink last night. So the Desert Wolf is coming back into our story, and we should announce who the actress is actually pretty soon, I think. Yeah, because we've shot with her, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be, there's a big backstory that also involves, and I can tease this, Talia Hale, Derek's mother. So the Hales will come back into the story at some point. All right, that's it.